The karts then heading out onto the circuit for the first senior race of the day. It's X30 Senior. It's an 11-lap race. And we have two drivers, Matt Suckling, who seem to be very, very well matched here. And they're on the front row of the grid.
Yeah, they're the guys who are going to be ones to watch out for, but again, watch out for all of those further back as well. But you're right, on the front row, great time yesterday from Brett Ward to stick it on pole position for all of the heats for today. He'll be starting alongside Berke Besler on that front row. Row 2 is then headed by Efstratios Galampoulos, the Greek racer, with alongside the Frenchman David Bowman in kart 211. Back on row 3, we then have Sam Marsh, who has been doing a few rounds here and there across the course of the season so far, and great to have Sam on board for this X30 Euro Series weekend as well. Next up alongside him is going to be the likes of Hugo Ellis in kart 214. He'll be starting 6th on the grid. Back on row 4 we've got Ollie Varney, the Brit, and we've also going to see Manu Bejarano Campos. And then back to row 5 it's going to be the likes of Carlos Leon and Eshen Perez, the man who comes all the way for a great weekend here at the Italian round. Row 6 then has Julian Barbaren, and we also see Alessandro Decori. Back on row 7 it's going to be Christopher Chenet and also Escatim. Row 8 is headed by Julian Pujabeya, and then back on that row as well, 212 is going to be Paul Luzia, and then row number 9 sees the likes of Sal Riker Robinson, who has made it here today, and alongside him as well, another Brit, that's going to be Stephen Letts. So 18 starters for this senior race. They get themselves prepared, ready to go for 11 laps of racing as they head towards the start-finish line. Here's Chris Hartley for the start of the race.
Thanks, Matt. Saw Robinson at the back of the grid because he had to go home to do an exam and missed yesterday's qualifying session. He's flown all the way back from Manchester to be here. He's almost last on the grid, not quite, because Stephen Letts, who was 8th fastest in qualifying, was ever so slightly underweight, so has been excluded from qualifying and starts at the very back of the grid. One to watch here might be Hugo Ellis from the 3rd row of the grid, who was on the pace of the top 2 in warm-up this morning. Here we go then, rolling start, race gets underway. Perfect start for Brett Ward. It's going to be tight for 2nd, but it looks like Sam Marsh making a decent start. He's going to be going for it here. So it's Brett Ward that leads the way. Berke Besler has dropped back. Sam Marsh there into 2nd place. Into 3rd position is Galampoulos, the Greek driver. Berke Besler, I reckon, has dropped down to 5th place from that outside row 1 start. Brett Ward then leading the way on this first of 11 laps of racing. Round turn 6 he goes, down towards the first of the hairpins on the brakes, and Sam Marsh going with him here. Sam making a very good start from the 3rd row of the grid from 5th place. A challenge here for 3rd place. It swaps hands and through goes the 215 card, I think that is, of Oliver Varney. Certainly losing the place was Galampoulos. We'll have a look when they come back around. Yeah, it was Varney, number 215, and he has made a very good start from the 4th row of the grid. So he gets himself up into 3rd spot at the end of the first lap of the race, but it's Brett Ward that leads. Sam Marsh 2nd, Oliver Varney from 7th on the grid up to 3rd position. Galampoulos was 3rd, he's now 4th. Berke Besler from the front row of the grid in 5th position. And rounding out the top 6, Hugo Ellis, who's pretty much stayed where he is. Leon is in 7th place, and Bejarano is in 8th position. Everybody safely through the first lap, Matt.
Yeah, fast start as always from the front runners, and it's kind of the outside line where you don't want to be, because that proved to be the wrong decision for Berke Besler. He couldn't really get himself back into line, could he? So he's now trying to work his way through the field once more as these two out front continue to fight. Brett Ward and Sam Marsh there in kart 227 as they work their way through turn number 10. And a slight gap back to 3rd place at the minute, which is a great start again from Ollie Varney. From row number 4 is up into 3rd place. So let's see now if he can catch those two ahead of him. And then behind him, again, they're kind of breaking themselves off now, because it's 2 and 2 in 1st, 2nd, and then 2 and 2 in 3rd and 4th. And we've got Efstratios Galampoulos there in 4th place. 5th place is Berke Besler, trying to work his way back through. 6th place then for 219, which is the car who has started this race down in 9th place, Carlos Leon. And then down there in 7th place at the minute, Hugo Ellis, who we reckon will make his way through the field. So let's see what Hugo can do from 7th place. We're on now to lap number 3. The top 2 still as 1, but now Berke Besler starting to get into the stride now, starting to make those tyres work and looking to make a move on the 3rd and 4th place guys as they work their way through turn number 9. It's still the top 2 with a comfortable 0.8 of a second lead.
So Brett Ward leads, coming a few years ago very, very close to becoming a world champion. He was runner-up in the grand finals as a junior Rotax driver and has been very quick ever since. Not always had the best of luck, but this is a circuit where he's always gone well. The switch of class for him this year, he's enjoying the X30 category and he's been very successful in it. said to me at the start of the weekend, he said, if I win this, win the national championship, I'll be able to retire. It's time to move on. He says, I'm getting old now. I suppose he is relative to some of the younger drivers, but I hope not, because Brett's got his great value. He's always entertaining to watch. A great racer, but also capable of leading from the front, as you can see. Though Sam Marsh is pretty well hanging on to him. There's a move from Berke Besler. A little bit of contact, bit of shuffling behind us. Galampoulos is hit, and through comes number 214, Hugo Ellis, to gain a place into the second hairpin as well. So the Greek driver is going to lose another place as a result of that. He's also gone on the tail of him. Another kart which is trying to get through, which is Carlos Leon, the Spanish driver, but he just about shuts the door in time to fend that one off. So it's Brett Ward, Sam Marsh, Oliver Varney, still the top three. Varney, a multiple winner and podium finisher domestically, and teammate to Brett Ward this weekend. Through go the top three. Fourth is Berke Besler after that move. He's already pulling well clear then of Hugo Ellis, number 214, who's up to fifth place. Down to sixth position is Galampoulos, the Greek driver. And just coming up to seventh place is Manu Bejarano, the Spaniard, in kart number 216. So down to eighth position. From the back of the grid, still a good effort this from Saul Robinson. Yeah,
really impressive from Saul there. So let's see if he can make any more progress. He was kind of within that fight for sixth and seventh place. But as you said, just being shuffled back on that previous lap. The top two still continue to lead the way. Brett Ward and Sam Marsh separated by around about half a second at the end of this next lap. There goes our third and fourth place fight through, and watch out for this now, because Berke Besler, if he can get a little bit closer, may just make a move on Ollie Varney here, and both of those have done fairly well. Ollie, as we say, come from seventh on the grid, and Berke Besler was on the outside of the front row. He's the man who's dropped back now, but Berke looking to get into a more better stride as they work their way onto the right-hander at turn 5. And look at that, Berke Besler has just recorded the quickest lap of the race, 51.193. So surely, before too much longer, he's going to be looking to make a move on our third place man as they turn their way through the hairpin at turn number 7. Don't think, again, they've got any chance of catching the top two. Still got over half the race to go, but time is starting to tick away. And still under attack here is Ollie Varney for that third place. Still second for Sam Marsh. Again, just dropped back from Brett Ward over the space of the last lap or so. But Brett Ward looking good, keeping those tyres in check and making sure they're working as well as they possibly can. As the fight for third comes back through. Great run through the final corner from Berke Besler. He'll pick up a toe down towards turn 1. Does he dart to the inside line? He thinks about it. He looked, but again, not quite a gap to get through. So he bides his time, but now he goes through it down at turn number 3. And Berke Besler, he lined that up very well, Chris.
Yeah, it was a clever move, that, wasn't it? It was always going to be a risk at turn 1, so he just sat tight and picked up the toe and just down the inside at turn 2. That lap that he caught Oliver Varney was absolutely exceptional, because he was half a second quicker than Varney, and that's why he was able to gain 3 or 4 kart lengths very, very quickly indeed. Now, still 5 laps to go, including the one they're on. Clear track ahead. Let's see just how quick Berke Besler is. The Turkish driver will do his best to catch the top 2, that's for sure. He never gives up, that driver. Oliver Varney, having been passed by Berke, is probably been able to up his pace now, just get some lines and get some ideas from Berke Besler and try and pick his own time up. Through they come, third and fourth. Not very far behind them is Hugo Ellis as well, on a good pace here. Hugo's just set a personal best lap time, 51.4. He's on the same sort of pace as the 2 drivers ahead of him. So Brett Ward leads by 0.7 of a second now. He's half a tenth quicker than Sam Marsh, so the gap grows ever so slightly. There's Berke Besler, 2.23, running in third place. Oliver Varney now being dropped by him. And Oliver, I think, is pretty soon going to come under attack from Hugo Ellis, who is not very far behind him. But there is the race leader. You're watching on the live stream here, number 217 into the right-hand hairpin at turn 9, straight into the left at turn 10. And he looks like he's on a pair of rails. Super smooth driving here from Brett Ward. The pace in all of his practice sessions has been good all the way through. I think the tyres will be okay this morning anyway. It's not overly hot, so they're not going to start overheating just yet. That might be an issue this afternoon. Through go the top 2, third, fourth and fifth. And Hugo Ellis in 5th place. Last time around was quicker than anybody in Sector 1. He's done a personal best. And Hugo Ellis in 5th place was 0.2 quicker than Oliver Varney. So the 214 kart, Matt, is catching the man ahead.
Yeah, he's looking quick, isn't he, Hugo Ellis? So watch out to see if he can bring that gap down any further over the next few laps. He heads his way through the right-hander at turn number 6. And those are the two karts to watch out for then. Hugo Ellis in that brightly coloured yellow and blue machine, and then just up the road from him at the minute is 215, which is Ollie Varney, the man who's being caught hand over fist for the time being. The gap is down to just under 3, in fact just over 0.3 of a second, but he looks a lot closer on the track as well. So let's see if he can get his head down, concentrate on what he needs to do and try and get the move done. Possibly not on this lap down at turn 1, but maybe next time through, which will be the start of the last lap. So again, he's just bobbing his head down as he turns in towards the first corner. Still the same order. Are the gaps coming down? Well, the gap between second and third has shrunk slightly to 1.5 seconds, but still quite a margin to bring down for Berke Besler. And then behind Brett Ward, Sam Marsh is at a second adrift for the time being. So the gaps are starting to eke out, and that was the reason that Berke Besler closed the gap, because he's just done the fastest lap of anyone within this race once more. So Berke looking good in third. Here's still the fight for fourth, though, on our screens, down through turns 7 and 8. That is for fourth place. Hugo Ellis looking very racy at the minute as he turns his way through another of the hairpins. Olivani, for now, though, looks like he's got it covered, but be warned, Hugo Ellis might just go for a gap in this race somewhere along the line, as we now are about to start the last lap for Brett Ward.
Yeah, over the line goes Brett. A casual adjustment of the carburation there. Berke Besler in third place, still flying after the top two, but running out of time here. So it's Ward, then Marsh, then Besler. Oliver Varney for MLC, the teammate to Brett Ward, the race leader. And then Hugo Ellis for Stephen Armstrong's Vital Motorsport team, just 0.2 of a second behind him in 5th position. Saul Robinson for Pierre Sexton's Fusion Motorsport team with a good effort from the back of the grid to be in 6th position. The other driver who started at the back of the grid, Stephen Letts, didn't get too far into the race, I'm afraid, so out early on and not going to be a finisher in this one. So there is Brett Ward, who looks like he's just having a Sunday drive, doesn't he? Very, very calm, relaxed, enjoying the scenery. You wouldn't think he was doing 100 kilometres an hour the way he sat there, completely at ease with the car. Through the last corner he comes, and it's a great win for Brett Ward. Second place goes to Sam Marsh. I think he'll be happy with that, Sam, from where he started on the grid, from 5th on the grid. Berke Besler, the fastest lap of the race, takes 3rd place. Oliver Varney does hang on to 4th. In fact, he just edged away a little bit on that final lap from Hugo Ellis by 10th. And then it's Saul Riker Robinson coming home in 6th position. After a good start, initially running in 3rd place, Efstratios Galampoulos comes home in 7th place. In 8th place, Carlos Leon. In 9th place, fellow Spaniard Manu Bejarano. And then in 10th position was the 220 kart of Guillaume Barbara, and the French driver from the 6th row of the grid. So Brett Ward's our first winner of the day. There on the screen at telemundi.com you can see confirmation of the provisional results just outside the top 10. Paul Lucier and Etienne Pierres, who is a newcomer to European competition, were 11th and 12th.